Hi, today we're going to discuss the next vowel, I. Now you're probably thinking to yourself, when we say the vowels, we say A, E, I, O, U. Why would we not teach A and E together? Well, if you start to sound and feel the placement of these letter sounds, you'll hear A, eh. You try. A, eh sounds very similar. So that makes it very tricky for new readers. So we're going to take that E and we're going to put it all the way to the bottom, and that's when we're going to teach it as far away from A as possible. So today we're going to skip E and go right to I. So I says itch. It's helpful if we use this motion when teaching the sound, because kids will remember it. The more senses we use, the more their memory will remember things, or their mind will remember. All right, so we're going to talk about the sound first. It. So we're going to write our three sounds. So you can do it this way, or remember, just do it in a car ride, in the line at a grocery store, wherever you are that makes them feel not scared, nervous. It's as if it's no big deal that they're learning to read. The first word we're going to do is sit. So we're going to stretch out the sound, starting with our thumb. It. Have them look at their fingers and identify which sound comes first. What letter makes the sound? Now, if you learned in our last lesson, a lot of kids might say the letter C because that sounds like the S. And that's okay. If you say that, if they say C, you can say, oh my goodness, I know that sounds like the S sound, but as C says, k, k, k. The more we just practice with them, the more they'll get it. But I want you to understand why they hear C. And you're like, C? That's not even close. It's okay. That's why. There's a reason behind everything your child's doing. So the first sound is S, S, S. Now, if they can't get it, you just simply say, oh, that's the S sound. How I help children remember the S sound, because S sounds nothing like the sound it's going to make, is it looks like a snake. And that kind of helps them remember the snake sound. All right, so we're going back to our keywords and saying What sound makes it sound? And like I said, because we're using motion, they're going to remember the I sound even easier than the A. So and the last sound Remember, this letter is easy because it sounds like the sound T. Now, again, it's easier to spell than read, so we have to really practice stretching and then catching fast. It. Do they hear it? It might be a little hard still. Sit. Sit. So, if they have trouble catching still, that's okay. The more you stretch and catch, their brain will start to learn to stretch and catch itself. So, it. If they can't do it after several tries, tell them, this is it. Sit. Do you hear that word? Sit. When they say yes, now they can practice. They know the word is sit. It'll be easier to catch a word you know what it is. A lot of times after a few words, I go back and out of order, I also will ask them, oh, can you stretch and catch this word to read it? And that really helps too. The next one we're going to do is bin. So I'm simply going to write my three sounds here. And now I'm going to have them stretch bin. In. What's the first sound? Again, this letter name sounds very much like the sound it's going to make. So it's an easier letter to remember. B. And I'll discuss right after this lesson how to make them remember B versus D. So, back to that keyword, itch. We're going to put our I down. And the last sound is And the N letter sometimes is easy for some kids because the end of the name says it. And sometimes you just have to keep reminding them. And the more that you say the sounds with the letters and we put them together, they will start to remember them. Now we're going to stretch and catch it to read it. bin. Okay, let's discuss a little the B versus D because everyone has trouble with that. So I explain it like this. We have two little kids. I simply draw stick figures, and sadly, this is the best art I can do. So if you can do better, it might be better. So here we go. Our little people have to look this way. Okay, now let's add some red because I only have red heads, so I love red hair. So this little guy, his name is Dan, and he wears a diaper. Dan wears a diaper. So we remember the stick goes on its butt, which they think is so funny. So that's one way to remember Dan. Now, Betty here, she's so cute. Look at her. We're going to make Betty, oh, forgot Dan's face. Betty has a big belly. And that's how we can remember Betty. Betty and Dan. B. So anytime they're doing these letters, you can just remind them, put the stick. Belly. D goes in the back. B goes in the front. And that really helps them. Okay, I hope that helps. That's all for today. Bye.